Okay, good evening to all. This is Dr. Shanuli Ray and my co-founder, Dr. Vikram Singhal. Welcome you all on today's online workshop on developing and using creativity in learning. We are honored to stand before you as the founders and CEO of Edvision. Edvision is a platform dedicated to transforming education through innovation and creativity. Creativity is a powerful tool in education. It unlocks new ways of thinking, encourages problem solving, and fosters a love of learning. Today, we are privileged to have with us an expert in the field, Julie Day, whose vast experience and passion for education will guide us through the journey of infusing creativity into our learning environment. This workshop aims to inspire educators, teachers, and learners to embrace creativity as a core component of education. Whether it's through imaginative lesson plans, interactive activities, or engaging storytelling, creativity has the potential to revolutionize the way we teach and learn. As we delve deep into this workshop, I encourage you to participate, share your thoughts, and explore new ideas. Let's create a collaborative space where we can all learn from each other and live with practical tools to apply in our educational settings. Thank you for joining us today, and let's make the most of this opportunity to grow together. Without further ado, I give you Julie Day, who will lead us through this exciting workshop on developing and using creativity in learning. Let's begin. And thank you, Mrs. Julie Day, for giving time for Edvision platform to conduct this workshop. Welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Dr. Ray, for the nice introduction. Good evening, all and everyone present here. Today's topic, as ma'am has already discussed, that it is all about developing and using creativity in learning, right? And before we proceed, that was also being discussed by ma'am, that it should be a platform where it is not a one-side person talking. We should all interact, participate, and share our views and ideas on whatever aspects that we go through with, further process. So without any delay, I'll just proceed. But before proceeding, I want to just tell you one thing, all of you, that have you seen the writing of creativity on the screen? Yes? The way it is written, that itself shows that, yes, we can be creative in number of ways. In a number of ways, we can be creative. Even the word creativity, the alphabets can be created, can be developed, can be thought of something in a different way rather than just writing, a creativity word as a whole, right? So this is the first instance where we can tell our students, tell our, children to use certain things of this sort when they're actually doing any kind of project or not. Later on, I'll share some, real life experiences where students have come up with very, very innovative ideas and techniques. Now, before, I think all of us know what is creativity, right? Anybody can just, just raise your hand and tell me what is creativity all about. Any one line that you can form, what is creativity? Anybody can unmute yourself and just say, according to you, what is creativity?
Bringing out the potential present inside us.
Yes, correct. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sudha, ma'am. Anybody else? So I think here I've, given a whole lot of aspects. Yes, Harshita, ma'am, yes. Anybody else? Okay. So in one line, if I have to say, creativity is something that is thinking out of the box. To generate, to create something which is new, maybe which is already existing, I can think it in a different way as an educator, as a teacher, or as a student, that is where we land up with creativity. So it's a vision. It's a way of generating new things altogether from what already exists that can also be there, or we can think overall a new things that we can come up with. So here you can see a whole lot of, arrows pointing out that it is comprising of innovation, imagination, vision. Okay, it encompasses knowledge and obviously motivation, right? So creativity requires a whole lot of certain aspects that we need to put into. Now, anybody on this topic, creativity and innovation, do you think they are same? Do you think creativity and innovation is same?
Hello.
Anybody?
Namaskar.
Yes, Faruqi, Nazneen Faruqi have raised hand. Yes,
Uh-huh.
you would like to say anything?
Yes, I believe they are same. Creativity
Anybody
means
else?
innovating something in a unique way.
Okay, anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. What I feel is creativity
Ma'am, your
and
voice is cracking. Yes, ma'am, your voice is
innovation
cracking.
is not same. Where creativity
Ma'am, I can't hear you. Actually, your voice is cracking.
Hello, may I?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so creativity is a novel idea which can be generated, and innovation is using that creative idea into something new, novel.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Creativity is the idea that we have. And innovation is putting that idea into
Yeah,
practical,
into something. Yeah.
into practical, or into applying that idea into practical knowledge, into practical way of what we can do. I might have an idea that, okay, this is how, I can do this thing. But actually putting that idea into the practical aspect, that is known as innovation. So it is very important for us to make our students creative. Then only we can think of they innovating something.
May I, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Then basically, in my opinion, creativity it's an ability, while innovation involves those ideas to create values.
Correct. Creativity is a skill that we all can develop, and putting that skill, the practical application of that idea is actually the innovation. That is where we have to, there's a slight, you can say concept difference where we have to be understanding what is creativity and what is innovation. How creativity can lead to innovative ideas and innovative thoughts and innovative actions. Now, coming to the very important aspect of creativity so far, what we have discussed, one of the most important aspects that we will be discussing today is the barriers to creativity. No, I think all of us are educators here, teachers here, where we have only one vision to educate and, to bring up our students, our children, even we are parents. Many of us are parents here, where we think of bringing up our children, our students in a better way. Okay. So first and foremost, whenever we think of creativity, there are always certain barriers to it. Creativity, even if you're thinking of something else, there's always a barrier to certain things. The most important part is that we have to know what are the barriers, and we have to learn how to overcome those barriers. Once we are through with these two, then I think we ourselves can be creative. And when we ourselves are creative, then we can make our students, our children also to be creative. Remember, we teachers, we educators are the role models of our students. When we are in a classroom, we are the role models. If I myself is not creative, If I as a teacher is not creative and I have certain barriers to my own creative thoughts, then it is very, very obvious that my children who are in my class, they will also not be creative. Or rather, I will be in a way not promoting that creativity to the students. How many of you agree to this? That we are our role models and we have to, know this. We have to break these barriers. First, we need to know what are the barriers. Then we need to break these barriers. Then only we can ourselves become creative, and so our children. Come on, quickly, give me a thumbs up or a hands up that you agree to this statement, what I said. All of you. Anybody else? No one agrees to this? That there are certain barriers to creativity, and we as teachers have to, remove these barriers, first to know these barriers, and then we have to remove these barriers in order to become more and more creative and have creative children in our class, right? So let's see what are the barriers. First barrier is fear of failure. It is something very, very true that we feel nervous. We are, scared of doing something new. We always think that what if I'm judged? What if someone comes and tells me, why are you doing this? Who told you to do this? Oh, you've done this? This is something not appropriate. This is not something up to the mark. So there's always a fear of failure, that if I fail, what will happen? Yes or no? Do you agree with this? The fear of failure is a very, very important barrier to creativity. Even this fear of failure lies in our children. Before doing anything, they have this fear that if something goes wrong, my ma'am will scold me. If something goes wrong, my parents will scold me. So better not to try anything new. Better, be in what we have already been done or whatever we have been doing, right? So this is very, very important. It is one of the very important barriers to creativity, is fear of failure. Second is lack of motivation. We don't get motivated to do something new. As teachers, remember, we always have to give our students the motivation to create an environment that will help them to develop creativity. If my classroom environment is not giving them the right situations, the right circumstances for them to develop their creativity, then it is not possible for them to develop. So lack of motivation is very, very important. We need to overcome this. We also shouldn't have lack of motivation. Neither we should allow our children to have lack of motivation. Fixed mindset, as I said, that, okay, this is being solved in this way only. This is a fixed mindset. Sometimes, how many of you will agree, being a teacher, when a student writes an answer or maybe solves something, and maybe that is not accordingly what maybe you know it, or maybe we have been teaching throughout the years, okay? And then at times we say, no, you do whatever I have told you. Do exactly the project that way. It has been done years after years. Please do it in that way. Please don't do anything else. Do not write anything else. How many of us do this? We do this. Let's be honest enough. We at times do this. Even at home, if your children is doing something, you say, please don't do this. We have been doing this entirely. Everyone in the family does this. You also have to follow this. You also have to do this. So this is known as fixed mindset. This is another, a stoppage, a stop, a checkpoint to creativity. We need to be flexible. We need to have flexible mindset. We need to at least give a thought, to listen. We need to listen, give a thought to what the other person is saying to us. External constraints can be society, can be as any other environmental situations where we have, a negativity aspect showing that, okay, whatever is being done or whatever is happening, let it happen that way. We are not to do anything new. Mental blocks. Again, I said this is more or less the same thing. If I have a certain mental blocks that I will do this in this way, I will do that in this way, this cannot be done in that way, then absolutely it is a barrier to creativity. Lack of diversity and resources. lack of diversity, we have to be diverse, because creativity is divergent thinking. If I'm only thinking at one line, then that is not creativity, which we at times do. Who will, think so much? If there's a problem, let us, solve it in a very simple way. Or if it is not solvable, just ignore it. Who will think it in a divergent way? Who will think it in a different alternatives? So we lack at times problem-solving skills. Blindly following rules, that is again applicable to many schools, that is applicable to many houses, applicable to anywhere. That if this is being done, let us do this only. Let us follow this only. And rules for our life also. In our life also, we have certain rules that we follow. We could do this, we do that. But we don't want to get out of that comfort zone, or we don't want to get out of that daily schedule that we have and do something innovative, do something new. So these are some of the barriers to creativity. Now, before I move on to the techniques for cultivating the creativity, now, can anybody share that, any of the barriers that you have faced as a teacher or as an individual? Any of you have faced or you have experienced that you
रह गया
maybe
ना मेरे
might
से
have?
मैं कपड़े बदल रही थी उससे में
Yes,
आज
anybody?
के लिए बस एक 1.5 कटोरी
Anybody, please, can I have a bit more interaction? Okay, we are just here to discuss certain things. Can anybody tell me that you have experienced these barriers to creativity, or this have made you not to be creative?
One of the barriers, I believe, madam, is the the mental blocks that we have.
Yes.
Okay, that's one thing, and the next most important thing is the fear of failure.
Yes.
This, unfortunately, in my 30+ years of experience, I'd like to say one thing, that we are teaching our students to be successful, but we are not teaching them how to cope with failures.
Correct. Absolutely.
And
correct.
perhaps that's where we've gone. Our whole system has gone for a toss.
Yes. Absolutely correct. Thank you so much, sir. Absolutely correct. That is where the problem-solving skill is not developed in many of the children. You give them a problem, they start crying. They don't know how to solve it because they are only bound within their books, within their curriculum that we have. And we don't, let them move beyond the curriculum, think beyond certain things. Yes, Ms. Ganguly has raised hand. Anushri Ganguly. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
I think one of the most important barrier of communication, as you have said, is that's what I think. We teachers ourselves are not motivated in a proper way. So how can we motivate or encourage the students? And due to our pressure, what we do, we try to put that pressure burden on the students, where it's not their fault. So we ourselves are not encouraged, then how can we encourage the students? So we
absolutely
should
correct.
think positive.
Yeah,
Ma'am.
we have to be positive, and the most
Yes,
important
ma'am.
as teachers, we have to
Yes,
create
ma'am.
a positive classroom.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's the problem.
where we need to be allowing our students to be
Yes, ma'am.
flexible, to have a free mindset where they can come
ma'am.
up with their ideas. But actually, in our daily life, with time constraints, with syllabus load, I'm telling you the truth, with syllabus load, with time constraints, with other projects coming up, what we do, we have a fixed mindset that I will go without any talking, take the attendance or take whatever, talk to them, start off with my chapter, whatever I've planned. Okay. And then anything coming up in between, we at times, we say the children, please be quiet. Let me finish off. I'm rushing with the syllabus. And we, somehow manage and we come up and we go to the next class. So this is absolutely true. And I have seen many people, as you said, ma'am, that we lack motivation. That is definitely. If you tell them also that, why can't we do this in this way? Oh, leave it. The first thing they said, oh, leave it. My seniors have done this in this way. And when I joined, they have been following the same pattern. Why to again, think and do certain things? Let's follow this. This is what we all of us do. And this is somewhere, we are not always wrong or we are not always right. Okay, but that is where we need to be more creative, to create the classroom in a manner where my students can come up with their own ideas. So classroom management is again another very, very important factor to create a creative environment. First and foremost, here I will be sharing quickly, some techniques for cultivating creativity, which we can do. I know we all have syllabus. I know we all have time constraints. We have number of periods. Children have number of activities in school. That's obvious, and that will happen. If I have to make a holistic development of a child, I cannot only focus on academics. There will be co-curricular and other aspects as well. But apart from that, while I'm teaching, while I'm in a class, can we incorporate certain small, ways where we can make our students creative rather than making or following the old way of teaching? Right? I think this creative, this evaluative, synthesize, these are all again are coming in Bloom's taxonomy now, where, they have been remodifying the Bloom's taxonomy, and they have said creativity, synthesis is a very, very important aspect now. So one of the most important way how we can build creativity in our children is mind mapping. I think all of you know, by this time, what is a mind mapping, concept mapping, where we can have our ideas, in connections. Like I can visualize those ideas in connections. Okay. And we can generate new ideas. It's like flowchart kind of thing. Even every book now, most of the books nowadays have concept mapping at the end of the chapters. Previously, we used to have summary. Do you remember? Previously, we used to have a summary after the end of the chapters. We used to have a whole lot of points coming up in summary. That was again a boring thing. Students used to not love reading those summaries again, those last minute points again. Now what the books have done, now authors have done what? They have changed those summaries into concept mapping, where, the main center part of the chapter is there, and they sort of draw flowcharts, linking, connecting each and every aspect of the chapter, so that, if it's a quick revision or glance through, the students can do, so that they can have an entire idea of the chapter. Similarly, you can make the answers, tell the students to write the answers in this mind mapping form, in a mapping way, so that in a flowchart way, which we usually used to call flowchart, now it's in a more elaborate way, we call it as mind mapping. Instead of making, one or two answers in a paragraph, you can just quickly ask the children that, okay, you create your own mind mapping here and write the answer. Like I'll tell you, as a bio teacher, my subject is biology. Okay, so we have a whole lot of processes that we have in a circulatory system, in nervous system and all. Previously, we used to give a 5-mark question. Come on, describe the cardiac cycle in detail, 5 marks. Now those days have gone. We cannot tell our children to do, please discuss, please write an elaborative 5-mark, broad 2 pages answer. No, that cardiac cycle, the child can write in a flowchart form, in a mind mapping form, in a concept mapping form, where he or she can show me the directions of the blood flow, where he can show me the, the chambers of the heart, how they are flowing, what kind of blood is flowing, all it in a flowchart kind of thing. So even we can do this in number of subjects. They can link, let them link different subjects, let them link different concepts and tell them to create. This is where Bloom's have that creating, synthesis to generate new ideas. Next is brainstorming. Brainstorming is a free-flowing ideas. Let the ideas come freely without an hesitation. Let everybody in your class contribute to those ideas. You as a teacher can jot down those ideas, can record those ideas, and then choose. Suppose you give them a problem and tell, okay, all 20 of you, please come up with your own ideas, free ideas, freely. Let them do it. You don't stop them. This child will say something, that child will say something. Let them come up with their own ideas. You as a teacher can jot down, can link all the ideas together, okay? And we can come up with the best solution. Maybe they'll give you 20 ideas, 20 children, but we can come up with after getting those 20, we'll see which 10 is most appropriate, or which 20 can be, made into other solutions. And then we can come up with different solutions. Taking breaks, this is again very, very important, and this I will tell you, obviously it is a very, very real story for all of us, that at times we ourselves are too much loaded with work. We are at times too much frustrated with our work, with our daily schedule, even so as the children. So when we are loaded, when my mind is loaded, do you think something new comes to your mind? Yes? Does something comes if your mind is frustrated, you're very much tense today, fatigued, you're very much tired. Do you think new ideas will come? Never. For a new idea, we need a fresh mind. We need some break. So if there's a problem, sometimes we put too much of our mind into that problem and try to solve it out without coming with, a better solution. It's better we take break from that problem, okay? And then we again think in a better way, think in a creative way, and come up with a better solution. Cross-pollination is again, let us get inspiration from diverse sources. If I have to teach a lesson, let me get hold of those resources from different aspects. Not only go to the class with one textbook, what I have been doing last 10 years, let me do this 11th year also. No. We can ourselves, jot down diverse sources depending on our subject, talk with different people, look different videos, learn through different processes, and we can come up with our own new ideas. Experimentation. Please allow children to do experiments. Again, here we know that we have a whole list of experiments that are being given in our syllabus, and we only stick to that. Even at times, children come up with new ideas. Ma'am, can we do this? Can we pour this into this? Can we, why not we join the wires into this and see what happens? But we at times, I'm telling you, because of time constraints, even it happens with me that we say at times, okay, we can do this later on. We can do this later on. Come, let's follow the syllabus. Come, what is there in the syllabus? So please, let them try out new things. Let them experiment. Let them come up with new ideas. Embracing constraints, very, very important. Instead of seeing limitations as obstacles, we must view them as opportunities for innovation. This is again a problem-solving skill that we need to inculcate in our children. And before that, we need to inculcate in ourselves. As we discuss those barriers, those are also limitations. Rather than thinking that, okay, I have a fear, oh, this will never happen, that will never happen. Let us, remove all those things. And whenever we get any limitations or any challenges in front of us, let us accept that as opportunity and try to innovate and try to solve in a different way. This is all that I'm saying, that we will ourselves do it and we will motivate our children also to do it. Even in classes, I've seen while doing any project or when they go for certain competitions and all, if a model is not made up to the standard or sometimes, some mishap happens and, the model is being maybe destroyed or something happens to the model, children becomes very, very sad. Ma'am, now what we will do, what to do, how we will do the competition, now everything is ruined. So rather that time, accepting those challenges, coming up with good ideas is what our job. We have to do it and motivate them simultaneously to come up with their own creative ideas rather than, keeping those, thinking those as our obstacles. Seeking feedback, very, very important. It is very important for us to seek feedback from our seniors, from our students as well, because feedback help you to refine your ideas. Okay? We do at
Please,
times.
sorry,
We do at times.
sorry to interfere.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the screen just interfering? Is the screen change, the slide change is visible to everybody? Can everybody see the changes in slide?
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right, all right.
Please check
Okay.
at your end. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, ma'am, please continue.
Yeah. So please, teachers, it is very important for all of us to take feedback so that we can uncover our blind spots. As I said, we have our mental blocks. So if I take feedback from my seniors, from my juniors, from my students, that, how was the lesson? Was it okay? Or can we do this in this way? Maybe I've done a model. It's always better to take feedback from the students, from the teachers, from my colleagues that, okay, tell me, how is it? Do you think something else can be added? Do you think something else can be, subtracted? Do you think that can be done a different way? So always it's better to seek feedback. It will refine our own ideas. It will also uncover the blind spots. Okay, someone can come up with new ideas that, why don't you do this model in this way? Why don't you, make them do this assignment in this way? So it is always better we discuss and we seek feedback. Continuous learning. This is something I think all of us do that as teachers, be it whatever topic, be it whatever, we have to do a continuous learning. We keep on learning through different sources. It can be our seniors, juniors, our peers, anybody. There are so many medias now, mediums to learn. So that is again very, very important for us to do a continuous learning. Mindfulness and meditation. This again, I had already spoken back. If I myself is agitated, if I am not having a full concentration to what am I doing, this will never help me to be creative. So how can I be creative? Mindfulness is very, very important. I have to put my full mind in what am I doing. Meditation is a very, very important tool, you can say, that can practice, you can say, that can help you to develop your inner creativity. When your mind is at peace, when your soul is at peace, you can think something out of the box. That is repeatedly, I'm telling you, and we all need to follow this and train our students as well. In the exam time, children are all nervous. Okay, they need to be having this cool, setup, stress-free setup, so that creativity can come in their mind. All questions, all answers are not there in the book. We do frame papers where the questions are from outside, where we check the creative aspect of the children, where we check the application-based knowledge of the children. So most of the children fail to do that. They only mug up and they do it. But when it comes to application-based, they are never, doing that because they are nervous in the exam hall. They say, ma'am, we went full blank. We cannot think of it. We are thinking of something else. We cannot frame because I did not study this. So that creativity thing doesn't come. So mindfulness and meditation is again a very, very important aspect. Stimulating environment, art, music, other aspects, nature, vibrant community creators. These are very, very important. I'll tell you one, example that we used to follow in our school at times by different teachers, that, before the maths class, because I think maths is a subject, by default, every students, they are scared of maths. Okay. So before maths, the mind should be full relaxed without any tension and stress. So, you can start off with small music. Music in the sense, I'm not asking you to play something. Even if you have a situation, system in the school that you can play a very soothing music for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just to meditate, just to relax, calm the children down. That can also be done. I remember, I had a student in my class who was a very good singer. Her voice was very, very soothing and beautiful. So before the class started, we used to always say that, you come for 2 minutes and sing for us. And that time, all the children used to just put their head down, close their eyes and relax, hearing her soothing voice. Okay, and after that 2 minutes over, they used to feel refreshed, good, the mind would be fresh enough, and they used to start doing their sums. Because, periods are continuous, before maybe maths, they had physics, before physics, they had PT. So, children, mind and body coordination is very important. And right after PT, if they're coming for a maths class, or right after physics, if they're doing a maths class, the brain itself is saturated, it is jumbled up. So we as teachers, these are small, tips that we can do in class. Okay, if the teacher is a very good singer, the teacher can also sing 2 lines, just to refresh the children. This again creates a very stimulating environment for them. Rather than, going to the class and saying, okay, I'm already 10 minutes late or 5 minutes late, or we are already running short of time. Please take out a maths book and do the maths. In spite, not knowing, instead of knowing what the child went through, what was the last period, are they too very much tired? Did they come right after the PT class, or their bodies again, totally tired? So you have to understand these aspects when we are entering our class. So art, music, these are very, very important way to stimulate the environment, classroom environment especially. Collaboration, again, collaborating with others. We have collaboration among schools, we have collaboration among classes, where we can share our ideas, our thoughts. Limiting distractions. Again, this is a classroom environment that I have to create an environment where there is limiting distractions. And how can that be done? By creating my lesson interesting, by drawing the attention of the children. When do you think children are distracted? When do you think children are distracted? When we cannot hold, yes, Miss Ganguly. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. When we are not able to explain the chapters in an interesting manner, when the topic seems to be boring for them, then
Correct, absolutely correct.
instead of applying any innovative method, we just follow that normal
Yes,
lecture
suppose I
method
go,
of,
yes, I go and
Yes,
start
ma'am.
reading from the book.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Open
ma'am.
page 20 and I start reading from the book. There's
Yes,
nothing,
ma'am.
I'm not doing any board work. There is no smart board. Even if I don't have a smart
Yes,
board, I'm
ma'am.
not doing anything. There's no,
Yes, ma'am.
introduction to the chapter. Even the introduction of the chapter can be done in a creative way. Instead of saying that, okay, class, today we'll do this chapter. Instead of saying that, we can give them a puzzle sort of thing and say, okay, now you people guess what chapter is today that we are all about to do. So this is where, you have to catch up the small things. We have time. In those 40 minutes only, we have to manage to do things. Another way to limit distraction is allow movement. Movement means whenever, we are giving the children a scope to move around. I'll just come to you, ma'am. I'll just come back to you, ma'am. That, movement is very, very important. Movement means we at times tell you, please sit here, look at me, look at the board and follow. We don't allow movement in the class. Movement means group discussions. Movement means peer teaching. Movement means, generating ideas. Always try to form these small groups where they can share their own ideas. Rather than me going and teaching it in a boring way, I give them a topic and say, okay, now you teach me. You start doing it in a different way. Peer teaching is again a very, very important aspect. Let us, do a topic. You go to the class, stand in front of them and teach us. Let us hear how you teach. There the children not only learn the way of expressing, the way of knowing things in a better way, they are interested also. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Miss Ganguly.
Yes, ma'am. Active participation of the students. They should be
Definitely.
made to participate. Means actively
Definitely.
participate in the class. Like a
Yes.
certain topic, as ma'am you said, they can be given a certain topic and they can be asked. Like groups can be formed. Small groups can be formed in the classroom. Like group A, group B. Now, like the teacher can say, group A. Anyone from the group A, please come and just say whatever you know on this topic.
Yes.
Then that's how we can also learn, ma'am. And
Yes,
new topic.
definitely. No,
new
that is
opinion.
where I'm saying we have to learn. This is where we have to remove the mental blocks. But as teachers, we don't try to at times. Children can also make us learn a number of things. Ma'am, I've solved this maths in this method. I've learned it in this way. But if in my mind, if I know that, okay, these two processes can only solve this sum, I will say, no, don't try with all these things. You do what I have only made you do. So these mental blocks have to be removed. And remember, distractions have to be removed by only allowing them to participate. As ma'am said, active participation. It can be a group work, it can be peer teaching, it can be, making them do certain things, give them a starting line, let them do anything. Okay, let them do the sums on the board instead of you doing the sums. Let them do that. That I think all of us, many of us do that. The moment we are not making them sit rigid at one place, the moment they're rigid at one place, they become distracted. They will either look outside the window, they will play with their hair, they will play with their pen, they will start disturbing the others because they are not interested in the class. The moment you tell them, you please get up and do this, allow movement in the class, that is the time where they will enjoy the learning. Creativity will come, definitely. Divergent thinking, of course, we have to train our mind, train our students' mind to think beyond the boundaries. Creating a creativity journal and keeping it is also very important. Sometimes we can maintain a small diary or a journal kind of thing where we jot down new ideas. At times, how many of you will agree with me? Maybe you're sitting at night or you're, thinking of something else, listening to music. All of a sudden, some idea comes to your mind. Tomorrow, I can make the children do this. Yes or no? Always things are going in our mind. Or while cooking, you come up with an idea. Why not do the project in this way? So it's better, whenever any idea is coming in your mind, it's better you note it down. Ask your students also to do it. Because they are small children, they can tend to forget. Even we adults can forget the same things. So it's always better that we can jot down. Suppose I see something, I go to a different school, I observe they are doing something different, which is very creative. I can observe and jot that down. So this way it will help me to maintain, or rather, as I said, collaborate and, or take resources from different sources. Now, very briefly, I will just tell you because, since this is a very elaborate topic and we are already 7:25, that how we can integrate creativity in lesson planning. Okay, I think lesson plan, we are all aware of what we do, previous learnings, learning objectives, learning outcomes, everything we know, that the methods, assessment tool, everything. Right. But as I said, the different subject wise, I think here all of us are from different subject. So I have selected very few, very common, what we can do, because we don't have so much of time to discuss every aspects in details. So firstly, we'll just briefly discuss certain areas what we can do. In English, we definitely can have role play and drama. That is, I think all of us must be doing it. Still, I'm just, repeating the same thing. Role play and drama is something very, very important for students to develop their creativity, right? Literally analysis is where the children can analyze different genres, okay? They can analyze different areas, okay, of literature, bring their own ideas, frame their own concepts. Same with literature circles. You can name all these also. Instead of saying that, group formation and all, you can name them as literature circles. These circles are nothing but these are group discussions. These are groups that are being formed where children share their ideas. And please, teachers, allow sharing of ideas freely in classroom for any subject, for every subject. They will come up definitely. Our children are very creative. It is that we have to give them an opportunity to speak. And we ourselves have to listen to what they speak. That is something very important. Writing prompts, I think all of us, we have done this. And there are many ways now, you can give them a picture and show them to write something. You can give them a comic line, tell them to complete the comic, writing prompts, creative writing prompts we can have, which just starts off, or maybe the ending line is being there. And you can ask them to do and continue their own ideas, create their own story, create their own magazine, create their own anything, a journal, whatever, anything that they can do, they can work on it. For science, obviously, Socratic questioning. This Socratic questioning, not only for science, we can do it for any other subject also. These questionings are thought-provoking questions. The question throw should be in such a manner that it will provoke thought, thinking, rather than giving, what is this, name this, state this, how will you differentiate this? No. If this is not there, what will happen? If I substitute this acid with this, then what will happen? If this was not there, comment on this, justify on this. Instead of 2, I'm giving 4. Then what will happen? So Socratic questioning is very needed in science and maths, where the children are allowed to think. We have to give them thinking time. We have to give them time to think. That is again a very, very important thing. At times we are in a rush, and we don't give time to think. Maybe the child is about to say something. Okay, you keep quiet. This is the correct answer. We at times tell the students the correct answer instead of giving them the time to think. Real world connection, science, I think we all know everyday life is connected with science. So let them relate. If you're doing a physics lesson, let them relate with the everyday life, everyday work that they are doing. If it's a bio lessons, let them relate how they're eating, how they're sleeping, how they're digesting. Even right now, in a class, you can say that, I'm talking and you people are listening. So what aspects, which other system of your body is active, how they are functioning. So let them think. Okay, when you're teaching genetics, okay, give them a picture in the starting and tell them that which chapter do you think we are doing it. We're going to start off, rather than going and saying to the class that, okay, today we're going to start off with the genetics chapter. No, they all know gene, they all know inheritance. Let them think depending on the picture. So we have to do induction method. Okay, we have to induce their thoughts. Hands-on experiment is very much needed in science. Again, I said for science teachers, apart from the, the syllabus that is there, let them experiment certain new activities. You give them the raw materials, let them come up with a new experiment. Even you can do another thing, which, many schools do it, and we have seen many people doing it. Okay, you can make your own, like a small card kind of thing, where you can just write certain experiments, just not the method, not the thing, just you give raw materials and you tell what you want to do. Those are like, those cards. those bingo cards kind of thing. You can keep them in a box and tell them that you come and pick up any one card and see what you got. So maybe they say, ma'am, I got raw materials, this magnet, this, and these are the certain tips being given. Now you have to generate an experiment on your own, or you have to create something on your own. Give them this idea. So you will see they do wonders. In clubs and all, in science clubs and all, we used to do this, giving them the raw materials and giving them just an outline that, you can do this. They used to come up with, full wire setup, a full circuit, a full, a different kind of idea. And they used to do their own experiment. That, ma'am, we have come up with this experiment using the same raw materials, what we used to do daily. So hands-on experiment is very, very important. Open-ended inquiry projects. Let the project be the project that when we assign to the children, let them be an inquiry-based project. Not that do a project on cancer, do a project on revolution. No, let the project be in a manner where they will inquire, where they will, have observation, they will collect data, they will run around, they will do a whole lot of things to come up with the actual project. Rather than giving them a flat topic where they will just go to the net, they will copy paste the project and give it to us. So we are not going to do that. We have to give them an open-ended inquiry project where they will apply their brain, their thinking out of the box and do the projects. For maths, of course, we have many puzzles, we have many challenges, many games that can be given. Maths, games and puzzles are there where we can train them to think in a different way. Maybe the same, this sum I'm doing in class, that same sum can be, converted into puzzles, into different apps are there in the, in the internet, different apps are there. I'll just share later on some of the apps where, they can play, they can do certain puzzles and they can come up with the mathematical concepts. Here also real world application. You can carry your children, you can take your children to the banks. Show them about, currency, even economics. Students are taken to banks where the bank people, they explain them about the currency, they explain them about certain, aspects of economics. So rather than doing a chapter in class, why don't we take the children to the banks? Why don't we take the children to other areas where they can connect the real world application? They can come up with real world ideas. Visual representation, graphs, datas, histograms, okay, all the shapes, geometric shapes, all these things can be used in a class to make the lesson interesting. They can be asked to make cones, they can be asked to make shapes, even the classroom. You can use the classroom area, the classroom design to explain the children about mathematical expressions. This can be done. Games and activity, of course, as I said, let the maths or any other subject be in a fun-oriented way where we can make them be more creative and active. In social science, of course, primary source analysis, let the children analyze the source. Is it a, historical aspect is there or not? Artifact is there or not? Any cultural techniques are there? Any cultural aspects are there or not? Let them, come up with, rather than if you're teaching a history chapter or any other social science chapter, let them come up with their own thoughts. You give them that, okay, this is the chapter that now you find out. You go and brainstorm and find out what is the historical background, what are the areas that were covered that time, what are the things that were there. Maybe it's not in the book. Let not them study what that paragraph is there in the book. Let them come out of the book and think of it. Interdisciplinary project, this is common to all subjects. Teacher, this is what we have been doing for CBSE and we have to continue doing it where we integrate different subjects, okay? Art into science, music into science, history, geography together, geography and maths together, okay? Bio and physics together, physics and music together. So everything, even music teachers can teach, physics and music can collaborate to teach the chapter sound. Okay, even where, when we are doing geography and bio, we can link these two subjects. Even the art can be linked here. Even the economics can be linked. If I'm doing a particular area, I will obviously, geography will be emphasizing that. Bio will be the diversity part. What are the animals present there? What are the plants present there? What are the lifestyle of those, organisms over there? So I can link. Art comes into a factor over there. Music comes into a factor over there. So we have to have interdisciplinary projects where children can link. Okay. Creative presentations, of course, through PPTs, of course, through their different chart making, model making. Okay, they can even come up with their own public speaking. That can be also a creative way of presenting the things. Okay, puppet show. Sometimes children come up with puppet show. They can narrate a story using puppet show. Let them make their own puppets and let them do the narration and everything. Right? Critical media literacy is something where in social science we have different areas where the media, let the advertisement, the promotions that are being made, let them go through them, see what are the critics, if they have to give to anything, that okay, if the advertisement is correct or not, any ideas that they have about it, anything else that is coming to the media literacy, they can do related to that also. So bottom line is, whatever is that subject wise, we have certain areas where we need to focus on syllabus, where we need to be practical enough to share certain ideas, but there are certain common areas that we can do. There are certain common areas that we all can do. Okay, like Socratic questioning can be done by every one of us. Games, puzzles, that can be also done. Hands-on experiments, mostly for science and, for this maths. But for project-related aspects also, we can make them do. Let them go to the field. Let them go visit the field, come with their own idea, come with their own data, come with their own observation. So these are some of the common areas that we can do apart from subject-specific. Now, before, I end to this, there's something very, simple way thing that we can do. Now, here there are six, I think you can see numbers, 4 numbers, and 1 plus and 1 equal to. Now, can you create an equation taking all the 6? Who can do that? Taking all the 6. All the 6 has to be there in the equation. Can anybody try this? Yes? Can anybody try this, please? It's very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus and equal to.
Yes, ma'am, may I?
Yeah, yeah.
Ma'am, I'm not sure, but 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 and 1 plus 4 is equal to 5.
No,
But these
we
are
can
two
make
different
one
equations.
equation using only these. In the equation,
Okay.
only these will be there.
All right.
Can I, ma'am?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
3 plus 2 is equals to 4 plus 1.
Yes, ma'am.
3 plus 2 is equals to 4 plus 1.
We can do that also. Yes, Anushri, ma'am.
Ma'am, what I think 3 plus 2 equals to 4 plus 1.
That ma'am also said.
Okay, ma'am.
We can do one more thing. The first thing that comes to mind is if I take 1 and take the
Yes,
plus and take the 3, equal to is 4. Yes. That is something that we all can think, like 1 plus 3 equal to 4. So all are there. But where does the 2 go? So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have the 2 also in the equation.
One
Any
plus
idea where the 2 can go?
1 plus 2 equal to 3. We have to go.
Another way that we can do. That is okay, what you said. There's another way that we can do. Obviously, you will have 20 children in your class. All will not give you the same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So 1 plus 3 equal to 4. So where does the 2 go? Can we put the 2 somewhere else? Yes, anybody? Can I write the 2 on top of 1 as 1 square? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So 1 square is also 1.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
here also see, it's a simple thing, but we all are different individuals and we all are thinking in a different way. We are doing actually thinking out of the box. We are brainstorming. We are trying to create our own ideas and we are trying to solve this. So, something like this. It's just for fun at the end,
आप लेकर तो आयो.
Okay, so this is something that we are just at the end of the session, just for fun. So this way, we all can do certain things just to make the children come up with this. What you said is absolutely correct. What I said is also correct. But see the divergent thinking. You thought in different way. I thought it in different way. But both are correct. So even the same way we can do it in our classroom. Right? So remember, teachers, we are all here. We have only one motive, to make our children successful in a way where they will face the real world. And to face the real world, not only academic knowledge is required, but their soft skills are also required. Their problem-solving skill, their creative skills are all required. If a child gets out of the school and becomes an entrepreneur, he needs a creative skill. He needs a problem solving. He's a CEO maybe of a company and their problem occurs. So he needs to have that problem solving skill. He needs to have that creative thinking. So if the child is only in a bookish knowledge, then that will not be sorted. The child will be getting good marks by studying page 20 and 30 and 40 and writing the answers. He might get 90, he might get 100. But when it comes to real life situations where he actually needs to be creative, okay, right, where I have to give thought and bring something. I don't have this at home, but I have to make some sort of other arrangement and do this. I'm in a place where I don't get this XYZ, but I have to make arrangements. So there comes our creativity, there comes our problem solving skill, and that can only be possible if I make our children creative enough by making them confident. So that fear of failure has to go from us first. Then only it will go from our children. If I as a teacher don't initiate taking up new challenges, then my children will never learn that. If I don't, we feel motivated always to do certain things, I'm not collaborative, I'm not resourceful, I don't have divergent thinking, then it is very much evident that our students will also not have that. And bottom line, as parents and as teachers, we have one, and even the education system. Education is all about making the children face the real world. It's a holistic development of the child rather than only an academic or a bookish knowledge. So with this, any question you have, anybody? Anybody would like to, question anything? Or else, with this, I'll end up because I think we're already, it's almost 7:45. Yes, Anushri ma'am.
Ma'am, it was a very enriching experience for
Thank
us,
you so much.
and I have learned a lot from you, ma'am. Like the topics, today's topic was really very different, very interesting. Ma'am, it's my request to you, like if it's possible, later if you can hold any workshop or conduct any workshop based on the recent changes which are taking place in the education system according to NEP. Like if you can kindly discuss on that topic.
So you
It
want
will
the
be very good.
curriculum or the entire framework?
Ma'am, if it's possible, the entire framework.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am.
Yes, I think Balvinder sir is also raising hand. Yes, sir, would I like to say something?
Yeah, actually myself Balvinder Kaur, and
Okay,
I
yes,
want to
ma'am.
know in the beginning I could not connect the audio. Can you please send us the audio or recordings?
Okay. That I think ma'am will do.
Actually, yeah. We will upload the entire session on our YouTube channel. From there,
Right.
you
Thank you
can
so
watch.
much.
Those who have missed, everybody can watch. And we will share one feedback form in our group so that everybody can give feedback of today's session. And whatever topics you are looking forward to conduct workshops, that you can also mention in the feedback.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so anybody else?
Anybody else have any queries?
Because the session was quite interactive and interesting, both. So,
Madam, I'd like to say something
Yes, sir.
to you,
Sure, sir.
Julie, ma'am. Huh?
Yes, sir.
It's what you're speaking of creativity is something that we lose. It's somewhere down the line in the process of covering the course. Many years ago, I remember when I was a very young teacher, somebody had made this comment, please don't cover the course, please uncover it. I didn't understand much of it at that time, but today I realized that basically we are doing injustice.
Yes.
We are really doing injustice. We need to cover this, uncover the syllabus to the students. Let them start exploring.
Yes, let them.
And in fact, actually, today's world, the sage on the stage thing has changed completely. Today, teachers are facilitators of knowledge. So we should understand that, because children, otherwise they can procure the knowledge through the internet. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a very, very informative session.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Just one, another, interesting thing I'll tell you. Just a suggestion. Sometimes start taking children outside the classroom and teach them. Under the sky, amidst nature. It involves a lot of things. They become very much, they can link to nature. They can feel the freshness of it rather than always we are inside a classroom. Always. So if your topic is, matching with that, if you're a science teacher and you're teaching maybe plant to them, take them outside, make them sit under the tree, let them explore. If you're teaching something other than science, if your topic is linked to it, it's always better that you can relate, make them relate to the real, connect to the real outside, to the real world. That way also it helps them to get out of that boring classroom always and have something different location and different place to share and think in a different way.
okay, so let us conclude today's session. And
Ma'am,
thank
someone
you
has
all.
raised hand, ma'am. I think Miss
Okay, Mukti ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. As heard this session, it was very fruitful. But can you just guide me? How can we make our children more creative when we are teaching English language skills? Please guide me in that.
Okay. Ma'am, since it was a like 1 hour session and we already started late, so I covered most of the subject. Okay, in that case, I will share it with ma'am maybe, or I will add some slides in the PPT as well, so that when they are sharing the PPT, you can get it, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Or we can
Thank
have
you so
another
much.
session on language development and English literature. Already we
Yes,
have
ma'am,
some
I'd
of
be
the
very
sessions earlier. Might be you were
Yes,
not
ma'am.
there at that time associated with
No,
us.
ma'am, I
If
have
you
been
can hear-
attending the session right from the scratch, but I think there was very less discussion when language skills were there. Other subjects for English were
subject wise will be organizing very soon.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. I would like to request you for NCRF insights also.
Actually, I will conduct in next Sunday. My session will be on that NCF 2023. Okay, we are planning. So you will get this registration form. I think tomorrow onwards we will circulate. Next Sunday, that will be the topic on NCF 2022.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Okay, all right. So let us conclude today's session. And thank you, Julie ma'am. It was really a wonderful session.
Thank you, ma'am.
And already many comments are coming up. Yeah, the feedback form also I will share with you. Okay, so that you can have a look on that. Okay, thank you all. Let us conclude today's session. Thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Though already it's almost over.
Almost over, but yes, again, happy Sunday and wonderful Sunday to all and all, everyone present here. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Bye.